Namaste, my friends, and thank you for watching this video. My name is Victor, and today is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a personal update where I share with you guys what's going on in my life as it pertains to the awakening, something I think you'll relate with and benefit from. One of the things I want to talk about is a very extremely exciting announcement I have that's going to involve you guys. And the second thing I'm going to talk about is something I rarely ever talk about. It's my diet. A lot of people are like, what do you eat, Vic? Are you a vegan? Are you a vegetarian? Do you eat meat still? What supplements do you take? What's your workouts like? I normally don't talk about it for reasons I'll explain in the video, but today I'm going to because there's been some interesting unfoldments that I just am anxious to share with you guys just for the sake of sharing it. I think it's kind of sometimes I'm very surprised at where my diet goes, but now it's going in a new direction and I'm very excited about it. I feel amazing and I'm anxious to talk about that as well. So if you're interested in those things, stay tuned. I'll see you guys inside. Thank you for watching. Hope you're all doing fantastic. See you in a minute. So if you guys already follow me on Instagram, then you already know this, but at the end of the month, on November 26th, I'm gonna be leaving for a week to go to Costa Rica to this place called Rythmia. It's a healing center that does yoga and breath work, and it's really just kind of an escape from the day-to-day grind. They also have sacred plant and medicine ceremonies. There's 4 of them in particular that kind of put this place on the map. It's a phenomenal opportunity. I was invited to come here with my friend, my other YouTube friend, Aaron Dowdy. He's going too. And the requirement for me going is I have to do daily vlogs about my experience, which I look forward to. So that's something you'll get to kind of you'll have to look forward to if this interests you. I'll do a video every day I'm there and kind of share with you on a day-to-day basis my experience there. With that said, I'm not going to deviate away from my regular YouTube videos. You'll still have the energy updates and maybe another 1 or 2 as well. This would be in addition to what you can normally expect from me. It's kind of funny how this came to be. Sometimes you probably already know, the universe will sometimes call you somewhere. You'll hear about something from more than one source in a very short span of time, to where that second or third time hearing about it, for me it was Rythmia, it's like, my attention is now, my interest is piqued. What's the message here? It's kind of how it happened for me. Initially I got this email from these guys and they kind of broke down their offer. They wanted me to come there and they'd pay for it. In exchange I would document my experience. And just the idea, you know, I'm a family man, I have 3 young children, I'm married. I don't know, the idea of getting away for a week by myself in Costa Rica, it just seemed so uncharacteristic of me. I just dismissed it. I replied and said, no, thank you, at this time I can't get away. And then a couple days later, I was talking to one of my clients on the phone and she was mentioning that she had some experience with the plant medicine, and she was like, man, there's just one place in particular I'm just dying to go to. I can't go now, but I'm so excited. One day I'm going to go to, and I think the name's Rythmia. Interesting. I just heard of Rythmia, and I told her when we were talking. At that time, I just thought it was kind of an interesting coincidence. I didn't think much of it. And then a couple of days after that, I was talking on the phone with my friend Aaron Dowdy, another YouTuber, and he mentioned that he got the same offer. He was going to go, and once he caught wind of the idea once he caught wind that I was given the same opportunity, he really wanted me to go, and he built up a real solid case for me going. And I got off the phone with him and I just started thinking about it. I talked about it with Patty, my wife, and I started to get real excited about it. But still, it seemed like such a big thing. And then I kind of went back to the email these people sent me, and they had a couple of different documentaries. One of them was The Reality of Truth, I believe the name is. And another one was just kind of about their place and establishment. And once I watched those, I knew that it was in my cards. I felt such a strong resonance with the place and just what it offers, the intense healing that people are getting from it. And I was just very inspired by those videos. And since then, I made the decision to contact them and go. In fact, the video is fantastic. If you guys kind of want to get an idea of what I'm going to be doing, I'll leave a link down below. I think it's called The Reality for Truth, or The Reality of Truth. Regardless, there'll be a link in my description box if you guys want to check it out. It's a really entertaining documentary about what I'm going to be going through. But that's kind of it, man. I feel as I have made the decision to go, and I got my plane ticket, it's solid, it's on. I'm starting to become aware of issues in my being that I believe are the reason for my, in a sense, higher self setting me up to go. I feel like it's kind of like, in a way, like a divine intervention in a sense. Like there are things that I'm carrying around with me, pain, wounds, that I've just been unsuccessful in releasing. And I think this is going to be, I believe this is going to be a method that's going to work for me in helping me release them. One of them being when I was younger, as I mentioned, I was hit by a really big firecracker. I was 9 years old, just watching a firecracker show in my neighbor's house, and they put on pretty solid shows, and one of them tipped over and randomly just shot directly into the crowd, hit me specifically, and I immediately went into shock. There's a point I was actually walking around in flames, this young kid, and it was just a very, of course, a traumatic experience on many levels. But when I think back to it, it's not traumatic at all to me. I feel like it's not a big deal. I can't really remember it clearly. I just was in shock immediately. And yet, I still have kind of a, and it flares up at times, like a paranoia that at any time there could be an explosion. If I'm like near an oven, or the other day I was in the sauna and they have like the machine that's kind of giving off all the heat. I have just a lack of a discomfort about myself, like anything that could just explode on me or something, I feel. I know that's illogical, but I'm unable to like trace back and like heal that. I've tried many times through different regressions and stuff. And there's a couple other things, not as big as that, but I feel like it's time for me to let that stuff go. And I think this, again, it's going to be a way that I can finally do that. So I'm very excited about this trip. I think it's going to be super awesome for you guys, very interesting. I've never been to Costa Rica. It sounds like a really exciting place, and I look forward to doing the vlogs and the documentaries for you guys, letting you kind of know how it helped me. So that's that. If you guys are interested, tune in from the November 26th all the way until December 3rd. I'll also probably post on my Instagram account too. If you guys want to, I'll leave a link or something for that, if you want to follow me on Instagram. I tend to share more of my personal life on that. Number 2 is I'm going to do something I almost never do. I'm going to talk about my diet. So many people ask me, what do you eat, Vic? Are you a vegetarian or are you a vegan? Do you eat meat? Is meat bad? What supplements do you take? Have you opened your third eye? What supplements do you recommend? What do you eat? And I refrain from talking about it because it's a very polarizing discussion. I've seen in my own awakening, I have like a Facebook page, the Awakening Community, with like 40,000 people. 40,000 people roughly who would normally be like awesome friends and get along beautifully. There are so many common interests and there's such a potential, and yet the whole diet can completely segregate them and bring out the worst in them. And that's kind of a metaphor for just what I've experienced in life. It's kind of like how religions, they kind of are fighting for who's right and who's wrong. So I don't want that among my community. But this is kind of a unique, I'm just going to kind of share my perspective and what's been happening with me and what's happened with me over the course and what I'm eating now exactly, because I find it to be kind of interesting. And my mind has been shifted a couple of different times throughout this diet journey and how it's related to Ascension. But I want to first preface this, that because I'm going to share with you what I currently do, it's by no means saying I think you need to do this. I believe you need to follow your own heart, listen to your own body consciousness, and do what is right for you. We are all different. We are all in very different circumstances, and what might work for me might be horrible for you. So you just be you and do you and follow your own path. I'm in no way placing judgment upon anybody. With that said, no, just kidding. So as many of you know, I've explained that in the past, when I first started to become aware of this ascension process, it came on very hard and very strong, and I immediately started to have an intense aversion and repulsion from, at first it was red meat. It was just like, it tasted like rubbery in my mouth. The way I would experience eating it just changed, and it didn't sit well with me. It made me kind of sick. And prior to that, I was like an athlete. I always trained very intense workouts and martial arts and CrossFit and high intensity interval training, and I was just really like a fiery athletic kind of guy. So I ate a lot of meat. I ate a lot of animal protein because I thought I needed it. But eventually I was like very conflicted because I was like, I need this, I want to keep working out, but I just can't do it. So I just started naturally listening to my body, and I cut out the red meat. And then I started to have the same exact experience with like lighter meats, like chicken and turkey and stuff. I was like, okay, good, fine. As long as I can still eat fish and eggs, I'll be able to get my protein, I'll be rock solid. And then it just kept happening. Now I couldn't eat fish. There was one night, my wife and I, we got these big lobster tails, and we ate them. They were huge. We were living in Florida at the time, and we both had a really like whacked out sort of experience. We both felt like we took on the fear of the animal or whatever, the lobster, crustacean or whatever. And it was just like, from that point forward, like, okay, I cannot do fish, no matter what, man. And then I became so sensitive. Then I was like a vegan for a while, obviously. I cut out the dairy and whatnot. And then I was a raw vegan, and then a raw vegan who primarily just drank juice and stuff. And for that time in my life, I believe it was appropriate because I wasn't working. It was a time to do a lot of inner work. I was just listening to my path very naturally. And having gone through that, then I started researching stuff, and I learned all about how it is with the animals and stuff. And of course, I was very appalled and shocked and just mortified, essentially, and not cool with it. But after a while, I started to become so depleted and weak. I was like 35 pounds lighter than you see me now. I'll try to leave a picture or something. I did not look right. I was getting sick all the time. I never had any energy. I was getting lightheaded. But I was so like firm in my convictions that I would never go back to eating meat or anything because because of like I just didn't think it was right at the time. But I just started feeling like the same enthusiasm that kind of caused me to embrace the vegan dieting. I had that towards meat. And eventually, at first I resisted, like, okay, I can't do that, man. This is not going to work. I refuse. But I was so unhealthy and so sick, and I'm a father. I have children. I have a wife. I have to earn money and have a job, and I just could not do it. Literally, I got myself way too detached from society in a very unbalanced and sort of just a very unhealthy way. So I eventually gave in to my intuition and started eating meat again, and I felt a lot better. I regained my health, and I felt good. And I've gone through that same cycle a couple of times where it would happen all over again. I'd start getting where I wouldn't want to eat the meat, and I would go away from it. But one of the reasons that kept bringing me back to eating the meat was it was a belief I had, I believe, that I needed it to have a lot of energy and be productive. And also I love to work out. That's a natural passion of mine. I didn't like the idea that I could not gain muscle with it. But not too long ago, this is what I'm finally getting into. I was talking to this guy, Ray Maor, real cool guy. He's on YouTube. And he's a breatharian. This guy doesn't really eat much at all. Maybe a couple times a week, he said, just for to not be so socially awkward, he'll eat. Just so he, not sitting there on dates, not eating ever. But he doesn't really need to. And he's a very grounded, healthy, vital, strong looking guy. And he doesn't go around preaching it, but he kind of explained to me how it happened for him very naturally. And we got to talking about just the placebo effect. He said what really prevents a lot of people from doing this kind of thing is their beliefs. And their beliefs translate into reality. Like, okay, I think I need food, therefore I need food. You might be suspecting I'm getting into saying that I'm not eating anymore, but that's not the case. But seeing a real living example of someone who could take it that far really caused me to start questioning my own beliefs and realizing that maybe I could pull off a diet without any animal protein if I had if I could break down those belief barriers. So I've been visualizing myself because I feel so much better when I eat that way. I also feel much better in general just about not contributing to like what's going on with the poor animals and so forth. But again, because I justified it, like I thought I needed it, I would eat meat for quite a while. So now I'm not eating, for the most part, no animal products. I'll have some eggs here and there. I'm kind of weaning onto it, but pretty much I'm eating a vegan diet. But there's two differences here. One of them is that I'm working on transcending my beliefs about needing it, and also I'm making sure to eat enough protein. I was not really counting my protein previously, so I'm eating the same amount of protein as before, just from different sources, and it takes a little bit of work and planning and adjusting, but I feel like a freaking 18-year-old. I can't tell you. In fact, just the other day I woke up, and I was in Vegas. I woke up in the hotel, and for the first time in like, I don't know how long, I didn't even think about having my morning coffee because I woke up with so much energy. My joints feel better. I'm making better gains in the gym than before. I shit you not. I'm feeling like a freaking He-Man in the gym. I'm feeling amazing. So again, this is just kind of to share my own account. Lastly, I feel way more open, almost too open. Like, it's gonna take some getting used to, honestly, to like, I'm seeing like the orbs everywhere, my freaking third eye is going nuts, and I'm more empathic than I'm used to being. I know I will adjust, but it really just opened me up, raised my vibration, and I look and feel just way more healthy. So that's kind of been my own journey with it and what I'm eating now, in case you're curious. Primarily a vegan diet, but with those two things in mind. I visualize success in the gym. I visualize myself being healthy. I visualize that diet working for me, and so far it is. At the same time, I make sure to eat a balanced and well-rounded diet with plenty of protein, and I feel better than ever, man. So I know I already said this, but this is not to say that I think you need to mimic this. This is just my own subjective story. Take it for what you will. Okay, that's it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Again, sometimes I just share what's going on in my own life, because I know some people are curious. They follow me a lot and they just want to know more about me on a personal level. And also, hopefully, maybe you can learn something from my tales, okay? So regardless, if you enjoyed it or not, I wish you all the best. I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your love and your kindness and your support. I wish you all the very best. Namaste.